Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Paula and I am a new grad nurse in a trauma ICU. I'm a single mommy to one baby girl and I am in a lot of debt, okay? I don't have a car loan, I don't have a mortgage. However, I am in a little over $70,000 of debt. That is why we are here today, to cash stuff my paycheck, and from what's left over we're gonna see what we can use to pay off debt so that we can get that number down as quick as possible. I have around 20K in credit card debt, and that is the debt we are going to be focusing on first. So let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, so the first thing that we're gonna go ahead and do, we're gonna go ahead and count up our money here. Let's go ahead and open this up. Set this aside. All right, I'm gonna turn my calculator on. So we're gonna start with our 50s. We have 5,100, 5,200, 5,300, 350. We have 350. We have our 20s here, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So plus 100. We have our 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, $50. Plus 50. We have our 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It's a little bent up a little bit, but all right, there we go. That one's all crunched up. And then we have our ones. Did I add 50? We didn't add our plus 25. Now we have our ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 singles here. So we have plus 5. And that equals 530. We will be cash stuffing $530 today. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and grab my cash envelopes. This is my weekly cash envelope binder. This is what I use when we have my monthly / weekly expenses, or if I wanna break down a big monthly bill, I throw it in here. So let's go ahead and open her up. Alrighty, so the first thing that we have this week is going to be gas. We do have a little bit left over. We currently have 1, 2, 3, and $4 left over from gas. Last week we literally got down to the bone, just like I've been doing the past couple of weeks, because I've been driving so much for my new job and education days plus actual shifts. They've been going very well though. I have a really great preceptor, very robust, definitely going to learn a lot from her, so I'm super thankful for that. I was also very thankful to get started sooner rather than later. If you guys know, you know. So yes, let's go ahead and attribute for gas this week. So this week I have 4 days that I'm working. I have 2 education days, and then I have 2 12-hour shifts. And then on Friday for 4th of July, my daughter will be going on her little vacation, but I'm having to drive her around 2.5 hours up to Savannah so that my dad can get her, so that they can have a great little week-long vacation, so that I can kind of get that off of her daycare tuition and all of that good stuff. But yeah, I am having to drive all the way to Savannah. So this week, instead of our normal $35, we're gonna go ahead and do $65. That's around 2 fill-ups for me. That should be plenty. As you guys know, I drive a Hyundai Elantra 2017. Theo is very good on gas usually, so $65 should be plenty for my busy work week, as well as driving her up and then me coming back. So that should be totally fine. So to do that, we're gonna go ahead and do 2 20s. Just kind of break it up into 2 separate bills, because it's gonna be 2 different tanks, obviously. So we have 2 20s, we're gonna do 2 10s. And then we're gonna add a 5. So yeah, like I told you guys before, the gas in my area is kind of not necessarily coming down, but it's a little bit lower than it has been. So I've been able to get away with the 35 and not go all the way to 35. That's how we have $4 left. I was able to spend about 30 and some change on gas this week, even though I drove my whole tank down. So anyways, let's make sure this is $65. So we have 20, 40, 50, 60, 65. So that is perfect. So let's go ahead and throw this in here, and then I'm gonna grab the change that is sitting in the back here in my little coin area. I'm just gonna take out my couple of bills here and then grab our coins. So anyways, as you guys can see, I'm stuffing a little bit extra in my gas area just because we have this little trip that's come up. So I would love to know what's something you have had to budget around lately that's not usually a part of your normal routine. Like obviously $65 in gas is a little high for me because my car does really good on gas even when I'm super busy. But I don't know how many miles Savannah is, but 2.5 hours, I'm sure that's hella miles. So that's definitely gonna be another gas tank full that I need. So I would love to know what's something you guys have had to budget around lately that is not a part of your usual routine. Any random things that have like been popping up lately that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm having to spend some extra money. So this is about the coinage that we have. I don't really remember what it was, but that's what we had left over from gas. So I'm just gonna put my couple of spare dollars back in here. So yes, it's really nice because I live next to a Costco and a Buc-ee's, and even though the Buc-ee's doesn't have a membership, Costco has a membership, and Buc-ee's, because they're like really close in proximity, Buc-ee's oftentimes matches Costco. So I'm able to spend cash on my gas instead of going to Costco and using my card, so I end up with like exact change. So that's been pretty nice, even though Buc-ee's is very chaotic because obviously people are traveling right now, so there's always so much going on. Gives me a little bit of anxiety. I'm like, let me go ahead and pay this debt off so I can start using my card again because girl, I be feeling like I'm about to get ran over. People are all over the place. Like, it's a hot mess. It's always full, like literally always full. So I don't know why I closed this because we have a few more envelopes that we're stuffing, but anyways. So yes, so like I said, the Buc-ee's likes to match the Costco gas, so I'm still getting Costco prices, but I'm able to pay in cash, which is nice. Because some of the other gas stations in my area that are not obviously right across the street from Costco, they're like at $3, whereas Costco and Buc-ee's are like $2.69, $2.65. So I'm like, cool. Thank y'all for competing. That's wonderful for me. So anyways, we did our 65 in gas. Let's move on to baby girl. Baby girl is going to get her usual $215. This is what I like to put away for her daycare each week, just to keep us like 2 weeks ahead. I do have an emergency fund for her daycare just in case, but what I put in here, I put in our savings account that I have for her. I have a like literal daycare tuition savings account that her daycare gets pulled out of each week. So I like to keep that about 2 weeks ahead. Not too much money in it because it's not gaining any positive interest. It's not making me money. Whereas like the emergency fund that I have for her daycare that has a couple $1,000s in it, because it's 2.5 months of emergency fund for her daycare, that's gaining me some interest in the Ally because there's like 4% interest. Whereas the savings account at my credit union is like 0.01 interest. So getting literally no money. So I don't like putting too much money in there. So anyways, let's go ahead and put our 215. We're gonna do 4 50s. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're gonna go ahead and throw a 10 and a 5 in here. So we have our 10 and then we have our 5. Like I said, with her going on vacation, I'm getting a week off of her tuition. Not that I really even saved any money, for being for real at this point, with me buying a couple things here and there, making sure she has swim stuff, you know, making sure I send her with diapers. I mean, it's all things that like I would have bought anyways, but like up front, the cost is about similar, but at least like with her being up there, I won't have to worry about taking her to daycare, picking her up, my mom taking her, picking her up, and then just like stuff like that. So I know she's gonna have so much fun up there with her grandpa and her Mimi. So yes, I'm loving that for her. But anyways, let's go ahead and make sure this is $215. So we have 50, 100, 50, 200, 210, and 215. So yes, I just like to keep this super, super current because the daycare be coming. And if you are shopping around for like daycare prices, we live in Northern Florida and I'm paying about $340 a week for full-time daycare. So yeah, quite a bit, but it's the rate that it is over here in this area. So that is that. So now we have wellness. This week, wellness is not going to get anything. Like I told y'all before, I have a bunch of Cook Unities in my freezer. That is the food subscription that I currently have. So I paused it for the next 4 weeks. So it's going to be $0.00 going in here. I literally counted it up. I have like 20 meals sitting in my deep freezer. So I'm like, that's plenty to get me through the next couple of weeks. And then once it restarts, it'll be about 4 meals coming a week that I can kind of use to replenish. So that's $0 for now. Next we have spa. Spa is not getting anything either this week. We also have restaurants. Restaurants is not getting anything. We've been doing really, really well with not eating out as far as me paying for it. Anybody else in my house that wants to pay for it, that's totally fine. I will be happy to eat. But just me, myself paying for things, no, that's not. We've been doing good with that. So also we have necessities. Like I said, I'm not really too worried about necessities. I pretty much bought the things that I wanted to buy. You know, I put about $90 in here last week. I would just wanted to grab a couple of last minute things for Anora's trip. So that's what we did with that money. So there is nothing left from that. So yes, that is everything for our cash envelopes. We mainly just put money in our gas and in Anora's tuition, making sure that we keep those things stocked up basically. So that is it for our weekly cash envelope binder. So next we have our long-term sinking funds slash our kind of debt binder. This binder has my debt envelope in it. So yes, all the remaining money that we have here, we are going to count this up and see how much we are going to be able to contribute to debt this week. So let's go ahead and get to counting. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back on. So yes, we have 50, 100, 50. So we have 150. I hope y'all cannot hear that. People are mowing their lawns right now. I don't know if y'all can hear it. It's very loud to me. So sorry if you can hear that. So next we have our 20s. So we have 20, 40, 60. So let's add our 60. Then we have 2 10s here. So plus 20. Now we have some 5s. We have 5, 10, and 15. 5, 10, 15. Plus 15, and then we have several 1s, so let's go ahead and count up our 1s. We have, okay, so that's plus 15, perfect. So we have our 1s here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So plus $9. So we will be contributing $254 to our debt this week. That's really exciting because, as you guys know, I wasn't able to put any money towards my debt last week, which was kind of annoying, but you know, such is life. I wasn't able to get a bunch of shifts and work overtime like I was usually able to do. So that it just is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my iPad and get us on my thing. I don't know what that is. So anyways, this is my little debt tracker. Don't mind the fact that it's not really charged up at all. So yes, we will be coloring in $254 worth. I'm trying to see So 254. So I'm just trying to see what that is. 150. 250. Okay, so we'll color in about 250 worth because as you guys know, I don't have like single dollar amounts on here. So 75 plus 75 is 150. And we have a couple of 75s here with the letters. And then we will color in one of the circles. So we'll do a circle and then we'll do 275 like letters. Then that will be 250, and then we just won't really account for the $4 because that's just, you know, just kind of the odd man out here. So let's go ahead and grab my wonderful highlighter so that we can color this. Wait, hold on. This is probably the right one. Okay, so just gonna color this in here. 100. So yes, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I would love to know how you're doing on top of the question that I asked this week, which was what are some extra things that you have had to budget for, especially with it being like summer season and, you know, kids are out of school if you have like school age children. And you know, people plan vacations and stuff like that. So what are some extra things that y'all have been doing or working on having to pay for? Maybe some things that have come out the blue over the past couple of weeks that you guys have had to deal with. I would love to know. This one's going to be hard to color in because it's a letter and I have to keep it in one coloring motion. So yes, anyways, as far as my nurse residency, it's been going really good. I did not end up getting the preceptors that I had asked for, but you know, everything happens for a reason. The preceptor that I do have, I really didn't know who she was because, you know, I work night shift and now I'm on days for the next couple of months while I'm training. Don't worry about me coloring outside of the lines. This one's really hard because it's letters, but she's really great. She's very robust. That was my main thing, is like I really want somebody that's going to actually sit here and teach me something, not just try to get paid like the extra preceptor rate, because they get an extra $2 for precepting people and like training people. So I don't want somebody that's just going to be like, okay, well you go ahead and do it, you do this, like what happened when I was in nursing school. Because the nurse that I was paired with during my last semester, she was really nice like overall, but she ended up getting a PCU nurse that wanted to come to our floor, who I established a great bond with. So that worked out and she actually started teaching me. But because I guess she was PCU before, she was like, oh, I don't really have to teach you too much. Whoa, please don't start. So she did just that, and it was like, okay, well, you go ahead and chart, you go ahead and do this, you go ahead and do that. And she just kind of like sat there the whole time like on her phone, and I was like, I really don't want something like that. I like, girl, like, especially working in a trauma ICU, these people are super sick. We are trying to make sure they are hemodynamically stable, not just like give meds. Y'all know I can't allow that. Okay, I have to do a little bit better. So with that being said, I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know why it's trying to highlight it. Maybe I'm not coloring fast enough. But yeah, I was like, no, I need somebody that's going to actually teach me a thing or two. I need to learn the tricks of the trade. I need somebody very, very experienced. And that is what I got. So I think like based on the people that I asked for, I think they're like, okay, I think she just needs somebody mainly like quite robust. And that's what I got. So I'm pleased with that. I also talked to a few other people that were supposed to start with me at the same time as well, because like I told you, I started about a month ahead because I went ahead and just got my license. Some people were like, yeah, you know, I passed as well, I just don't feel like starting super soon. And I'm like, okay, I totally get that. For me, I was glad that I started earlier because I don't know, especially with all the job insecurity lately, I was like, girl, I need to get myself on the floor. I need to kind of have a one-up on the other trainees that I'm going to be with. And then if you think about it, with there being so many of us coming onto the floor at the same time, that's going to kind of overwhelm. Oh my God, why did I do that? Y'all know this is going to color a whole different color now. But we're chatting, so it doesn't really matter. But anywho's, so I was like, that's gonna overwhelm the staff. Like, even if we all have like slightly different days, we still have education days that we literally cannot miss. So that puts us basically on the schedule on pretty much the same days. So you're gonna have like 5 to 7 trainees. Mind you, we have a 36 bed unit in the ICU. And you have mainly one nurse to 2 patients, unless they're one-to-ones, and our one-to-ones are usually going to be like on a really high, like highly trained, I don't know how to explain it, like highly confusing complex machine, right? So your CRRTs, your Impellas, your balloon pump, ECMO type thing, those are like one-to-ones. But anything else, even like neuro interventions, most of those are, yeah, I'm not coloring fast enough for this thing. Most of those are not one-to-ones. So while there is usually at least 15 nurses on the floor, imagine more than half of those nurses having to train somebody every time they come in. Like, no, I don't want to have to deal with that. And like I said, I think that allowed for me to get one of the better preceptors, because now I don't have to compete with other people that are like, we're all coming on at the same time. So now they're having to figure out who's precepting who. I don't have to worry about that. I already have my preceptor. She's not going to be precepting anybody else. I am her trainee. I'm her orient. That is what that is. So I'm pleased with that. I did color outside of the lines a little bit, but the fact of the matter is she's colored in. So we've colored in $250 worth of debt repayment this week. I'm super happy about that. We paid off $254, but the $4, we're not going to worry about it too much in terms of on the tracker. But yes, that's pretty much the landscape of how things are going down at the hospital right now. It's a great learning experience. Like I said, I really like my preceptor. She's former military, so I think that's kind of why she's kind of more like that vibe that I was looking for, like gonna teach you something. She might look at you like you're stupid, but I'd rather she look at me like I'm stupid and then teach me the right way to do things, rather than once I'm on my own, I make some crazy mistake and now everybody's looking at me crazy. Oh, absolutely not. We had a situation like that the past couple of weeks where one of the newer nurses, like one of the patients came up like signs of sepsis. Luckily it didn't end up being sepsis. They were allergic to a medicine that nobody realized, because mainly people are not allergic to that type of medicine, but the patient was actually just allergic to said medicine, but it looked and it mimicked sepsis. And it was strange because that nurse was working with that patient for the past 3 days, their whole 3-day stint. So if they didn't have sepsis before you came on, and now they have sepsis, now people are looking at you crazy because like, what did you do? Luckily, that was not the case. I was very happy for that nurse, because me and that nurse are cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope nothing bad is gonna happen because of things like that. But no, it was just an allergy that nobody was actually aware of, because if you've never taken certain meds, you don't know if you're allergic to them. And that's what happened. The patient was fine. It just had to work its way out of their system. But yes, so I'm just like, I'd rather have a really robust, almost mean type preceptor, you know, not condescending, but like, if you do something stupid, you're gonna feel it, okay? And that's just what it is. It just makes you ask questions, and I'm a question asking type person. I need to know what's going on. But yes, so anyways, I'm not gonna keep you guys any longer. I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on with my new job and orienting and training to be a nurse. Some of you guys are in nursing school. Some of you guys want to do ICU that I've talked to. So just wanted to give you some tidbits and whatnot about that. But yes, like I said, definitely answer my question that I asked earlier down in the comments. I'm super excited to chat with you guys this week. And yes, that is pretty much it. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.